All right. Now, the Daily Kos, it's interesting. It's not a real power in America, but it does get picked up by powerful people, which is usually the way this game works. These far-out websites on the left and on the right a little bit, but not so much, filter their little garbage into the New York Times and other people, and then it gets mainstreamed out. They are presenting a picture of the Republican Party as a bunch of extreme loons. You know, they want Obama impeached. They think he's not born here. He's a racist. He hates white people. I don't think, you know, what I'm trying to get at is this. There's no doubt there's an extreme element of the Republican Party and the conservative movement. There's no doubt. They're there. But how much do you think that is?
You know, look, I think, first of all, remember this polling firm was the firm that said Martha Coakley was going to beat Scott Brown.
Yes, right. We pointed that out.
And Daily Kos, you're right about it. You know, there's an interesting study done several years ago in which somebody went and counted the profane words on liberal blogs and on conservative blogs. And, of course, Daily Kos was right up there near the top of the liberal blogs in its use of profanity. So, I mean, you know, we're being lectured, too, about what's appropriate or not appropriate by people who, you know, generate four-letter words on their blog, you know, all the time. But look, here's a point about Daily Kos. Daily Kos is trying to make an argument, and the argument falls flat on its face when you begin to look inside the numbers and you look at the methodology. They just simply said, do you think President Obama was born in the United States? You know, only 36% said, no, he wasn't. But by saying your choices are, yes, he was, no, he wasn't, or I don't know, I mean, they sort of drove things to these
right,
numbers that could be taken.
Look, as you point out, we don't have any, this polling is not what you would rely upon. But you yourself are a Republican and have worked in Republican administrations, and you know the system. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to calibrate the extreme wing of the Republican Party and the conservative movement. Is it 20%, 15%? What would it be?
It's hard to put a number on it, but look, part of what we get in this poll is there's no cost to saying, yeah, I don't like what the president is doing. There's no cost, particularly when you start putting a whole series of these negative comments in there that allow people to just bloviate. But look, as I move around the country, I see a lot of angst by people who are ordinary, normal, middle of the road, you know, it should be middle America. They range from the very conservative to the somewhat liberal who are concerned about what this president is doing. And I don't find them, you know, particularly dangerous.
The game is to demonize the Tea Party people.
Sure it is. Sure, absolutely.
And people like you and me and anybody who isn't a liberal as a kook. And I do it. I do it too. I have to admit, I got to be fair. I think these Kos people are insane. I don't think there's anything fair about them. I think they're dangerous. I don't respect them. So I traffic in that a little bit too. But I wouldn't say most Democrats are that way.
Let me defend you.
That.
Let me defend you. You don't spend your time obsessing over them.
No, I don't care about
what the Obama administration and some quarters of the left wing of the Democratic Party are obsessing over the protest that they are seeing coming from people whom they would like to have sit down and shut up. And those are these people who have looked over the last year. I mean, this has not happened because of the president's personality. Many of these people like him personally. What people are being driven into politics and being driven into this movement by is a concern over spending, debt, and the power of the government, and seemingly the unwillingness of our leaders in Washington to be responsive to the people.
All right, Mr. Rove, thanks as always.